You got more of the banks trying to do bank things.
If you've tried to buy a game on Steam recently, you might have seen this message. Valve has announced the removal of PayPal as a payment option in many countries.
Wow.
This is not a bug or a mistake. It's part of a bigger problem. The biggest question is, why is this only happening in certain countries? Now, you might remember 1 month ago when we first talked about the collective shout, Steam adding a new rule, and the mass removal of games, that it seemed like PayPal was involved.
Wow.
This is because right at that same time,
What happened?
it seemingly stopped working. It was unknown if this was some bug, a coincidence, or actually related to the situation.
Yeah,
now, when you try to use PayPal in an unavailable country, you get this official statement from Valve. Steam stated in early July 2025, PayPal notified Valve that the requiring bank for payment transactions in certain currencies was immediately terminating the process of any transactions related to Steam. This is important because
what's the bank? What's the bank that did that?
because an acquiring bank is the bank that handles payments on a company's side. Think of it as the bank that collects the money for Steam. They go on to say this affects currencies other than Euro, Canadian dollar, British pound, Japanese yen, Australian dollar, and the United States dollar.
Yeah, so they're trying to exercise this soft power that they have in countries that aren't well regulated in order to try to put pressure on Steam to do what they want. That's what it seems like is happening.
Means that for every other currency in the world, PayPal is no longer a payment option to buy Steam games. They continue by saying, we hope to offer PayPal as an option for these currencies in the future, but the timeline is uncertain. We're also evaluating adding additional payment methods on Steam for the customers affected by this.
That's what they need to do.
In the meantime, please use one of our other current payment methods during checkout. If you can't use any of the available options, you can consider using a Steam wallet code to add funds to your account. This confirms that they are actively trying to fix a problem that they did not create. But this statement also leaves us with a massive question. If the problem is with Steam's content, why would the bank only care about certain currencies? Why is PayPal still working?
It's because they can only control those currencies. That's why they're not controlling the larger international currencies like CAD, USD, and euros. But they can exercise this in smaller countries that don't have the same level of legislation. That's why.
Perfectly fine in big markets like the US and the EU. One person on Reddit decided to call PayPal's customer service in Poland to get an answer. The lady insisted I contact Steam because they were the ones who pulled the plug because Steam prefers customers to use their balance. When the user read the official Steam message to the rep, she became irritated and hung up. Does this sound familiar? Because it should. This is the same thing we saw with MasterCard and Visa.
These people need to get audited. That's what they need to do. The government's got to come in and audit them and figure out like who's doing this. Big time. Yeah, just go through discovery, subpoena all the data, all of the different call logs, all of the different transactions, communication, and just figure this out. It would take like 5 seconds to figure this out.
Those companies put pressure on Steam, they then publicly denied it. So Valve had to be the one to tell the public the truth. It's clear that PayPal is now doing the same thing, blaming Steam to avoid talking about their own actions. When you put all the facts together, it shows a clear connection. This is a bigger plan to control what people can and can't buy online.
That's right. Yeah, the banks are trying to create a monopoly on currency and a monopoly on trade in order to force certain viewpoints and ideologies into the mainstream that the public isn't accepting. And I think this goes beyond viewpoints and ideologies. It goes into culture, it goes into values, and it goes into everything. That's what they're doing. They're doing that intentionally, and they're trying to push it. They've been doing this for a long time. And you should don't let them do it. No, there's no reason to let them do it. I mean, you should have laws that regulate this and prevent it from happening. And yeah, it's insane. Money's a great start to control. Yeah, if you can control the money, you can do that. How did all these ideal pushing fascists get into power? Because who do you think goes after power? People with ideals that want to push it.
Situation,
it's the power
it all
paradox.
began with an activist group asking payment companies to stop handling
Should've never
payments
done it.
for games with sexually explicit content. MasterCard and Visa were some of the first to act, which led to Steam's new rule. MasterCard denied doing this, but Valve's statement proved they were the ones responsible.
Yeah.
At that exact same time, the game store itch.io had its payment services.
Well, and it's also like I immediately believe Valve because they've done this with other people too. They've debanked multiple other groups of people. They've debanked organizations. This is very common that they do this. And they've even, I think a Japanese person at Visa even said that they did it to protect their brand. So, I mean, they've said they did this. They've done it in the past. I mean, this is a pattern of behavior at this point.
Stripe removed. Stripe's statement was clear, saying it couldn't support this kind of content because of its banking partners. This proves that these banks and payment companies are indeed the ones stopping the payments.
And again, like if you were the government, like and you could control this, you could figure this out instantly, right? Like you say, who is it? Okay, well then they're the ones that are the problem.
Now we have the exact same thing happening with PayPal. A bank on PayPal's side has ended its agreement with Steam. The fact that all these events happened at the same time makes it impossible to think that this is just some wild coincidence. Now, you might be wondering, why was PayPal only removed for some countries? They start by making changes in smaller markets with fewer legal protections. This allows them to test their power and put pressure on companies without risking their biggest markets like the US and the EU. This strategy is meant to force companies like Valve to agree to their demands everywhere without a major fight. The good news is that Valve is not giving up. Their statement that they are actively looking for new payment methods for affected customers is a big sign that they are fighting for gamers and will not be pushed around by these companies, although they sort of have to right now.
Well, so they're going to have to work with them to an extent, right? I mean, like it's an extent, but I think that these companies are doing it on purpose, and I think that again, there needs to be a investigation, like an antitrust lawsuit about this, that puts all of these communications into discovery for the courts. I think that's what needs to happen. That's what hasn't happened yet, and it's a huge problem that it hasn't. If it does, I would be so happy, because that's really where we're waiting.
PayPal ban is not a bug. Whether it's the banks, card networks, payment processors, they all try to deny any of this is happening.
What a surprise.
But there is a clear history, not just with Steam, but for all kinds of reasons. It's getting so big that we have the Japanese government and even Donald Trump stepping in to stop this from happening by signing a new executive order.
You want me to buy back PayPal? No, you don't understand. Like, it's great to have somebody like Elon Musk that's doing this in a way that is beneficial, that you and I agree with, but ultimately a good billionaire in charge of a situation is still a problematic situation, period. It's not like it automatically makes the situation good. It just makes it palatable in the meantime. Like, nobody lives forever. I mean, I don't know, at least so far. And so the problem is that you can't rely on good actors. If you could just rely on good actors, we wouldn't need any laws. You need to have rules.
Fair banking for all Americans. We even got a statement from the chairman of the FDIC mentioning how they are going to be adding a new rule so these financial companies have to stop using reputational risk as a reason to deny business.
Easy.
So now we have
See how fucking easy that is? All you do is you make it a law. Problem solved.
Card trying to remove service on Steam through their acquiring banks, PayPal removing service on Steam for a bunch of countries because of their acquiring banks, and Stripe removing service on itch because of their banking partners. So this is clearly a massive problem that needs to be fixed. In 6 months though, the government will officially have a strategy on stopping this from happening, which could include new laws and regulations, but obviously this might not help everyone around the world, like what we are seeing with PayPal removing service in select countries. The best part about this new statement though is that Valve officially confirms that they are working on new payment methods, especially for the affected countries. We have joked about the idea of Valve Pay, but Valve joining the payment space to avoid these problems really doesn't seem like a stretch anymore. Around 20...
I think that a lot of people want to have a payment processor that's a payment processor. Not a sensor, not a method of control, just a processor that processes payments. It's literally that simple.
2012 to 2013, Valve became concerned that Microsoft's new Windows 8 and its App Store model could threaten Steam's dominance.
Windows 8, not a good time.
PC gaming. This worry directly led
Uma Musume is number 1? Oh my god. Holy shit, can you believe that?
Gaming. This worry
Wow.
directly led Valve to create its own operating
That's a lot.
system, SteamOS, to reduce its reliance on Windows.
expect
Which
that.
anyone who knows about SteamOS now, it outperforms Windows on gaming benchmarks. With this being such a big issue, that clearly shows how these companies like Steam heavily rely on these payment companies, and Gabe Newell loving to be a
There
game
he is.
changer from his deep sea marine research to his neuroscience brain implant company, I wouldn't put it past them to try to make a solution. We also can't forget Elon Musk, who is aware of the Steam censorship
Yeah, he knows
and
about it.
has mentioned he is working on XPay. So this is a problem that we are dealing with right now, but hopefully
Yeah,
it will
it's like having Elon Musk do it would be great, right? But at the end of the day, that's still one person, right? You've got to have more to it than just that. I mean, it kind of goes without saying, but yeah, it's literally just that simple. But for some people, they don't really get it.
be fixed soon. Do you think we can see Rule 15 removed from Steam by next year?
Yo, what's up, guys? We are in Dallas, Texas today.
Yeah, I mean, there it is, and Elon will stop them. You know, I mean, I think that really the problem is not exactly Elon. It's not like
If you've tried to buy a game on Steam,
you can solve a symptom by replacing it with a better symptom, but at the end of the day, you still have the same problem. You really see that, like, you get the point, right? Is like, just because you have a positive disease, it's still a disease. You don't want to have any diseases. Like, you don't want to have this weapon be usable by anyone. That's the issue, is that you can't have this weapon exist, period. Now, obviously, the next best thing is to have it be used by somebody that we agree with or we're aligned with, right? Which I think Elon on these issues, I am pretty much completely aligned with him on these issues. I think most people are. And yeah, wasn't Elon the early founder of PayPal? I think he was. Yeah, he was. And so, like, but what he did with PayPal in like 1999 isn't today, right? I don't believe Elon at all, to be honest. Why? I mean, Elon clearly followed through with what he promised with Twitter. He did. He unbanned Alex Jones. He unbanned Nick Fuentes. He unbanned Donald Trump. He basically enforced freedom of speech. He did it. He delivered. Like, he said he was going to do the thing. He did the thing. That's it. And so, yeah, I would fucking believe him. So, and also, like, by the way, like, why wouldn't he want to do that? Like, it's another method of him having more control over economies and having another vector of business that he can operate under and function under. It's common sense that he would want to do this himself. Of course he would want to do this. Yeah, it's more vertical integration for all of his businesses. It's more money, more control, more in-house decision-making. You're removing another outside actor. It aligns with his decision-making completely. So, yeah, it's really just that simple. And Elon isn't enforcing freedom of speech because he's still censoring things he personally doesn't like. Well, before we move on, I'd like to, like, let me give the video a like. I mean, Waters made a lot of really good videos about this topic, and I agree with him. Can you give me an example of that? Can you give me an example of Elon banning people because he doesn't like them? Because I hear this all the time. I hear people say this, but I never hear any examples. And I think that's very weird. He deleted people's posts about him with Ghislaine Maxwell. How do you know that he deleted them? Like, I mean, so a post got deleted. And so let me get this straight. So there was a post on Twitter, and it's not on Twitter now. And you've instantly come to the conclusion that it was Elon that deleted it himself. Is violating TOS? Maybe it is. I don't know if it violated TOS or not. You remove your check mark? Yeah, but, like, I mean, that's not removing somebody's freedom of speech. Like, it's just not. Like, I understand, like, that was dumb, but, like, are we really gonna act like these are the same things? They're obviously not. Like, if I go and I post this, look. Silencing critics, this is for 2 years ago. So some guy got suspended for something. Who knows what happened? I mean, look at all these photos. So clearly you're not getting banned, and you can clearly say this on Twitter. I mean, it's literally right there. I mean, it's obviously not. He got Streisand affected by it. It's not Streisand effect. It's like obviously people are gonna post photos of him with her. Like, I don't think you need a Streisand effect to this. Like, come on, man. Like, you're really going that far with it. You're really going that far. Elon doesn't censor X. Yeah, I mean, again. So he tried to censor it, but then he couldn't. So the example that you have of him censoring is him not censoring. Good one. That's great. Yeah. Thanks a lot. We really appreciate your input. Thank you so much. But yeah, I pretty much I mean, this bullshit with the payment processors, I think is ridiculous. I'm very glad to see more people putting control on it.